Right now, as you're watching this video, Julie Felss Masino is sitting in her office at Cracker Barrel headquarters, probably checking stock prices and wondering if she'll still have a job by Christmas. And based on what we've uncovered, the answer might shock you. There are 5 critical warning signs that suggest the CEO of one of America's most beloved restaurant chains is about to be fired. And some of these signs are so obvious that even betting markets are now taking action. Let me paint you a picture of what's really happening behind the scenes at Cracker Barrel, because this isn't just about a logo change that went wrong. This is about a perfect storm of corporate failure that's been building for years, and it's all coming to a head right now. The first major red flag is something most people don't even know exists. There's an actual prediction market where you can bet real money on whether Julie Masino will be fired before the end of 2025. This market opened just 3 days after the logo controversy began, and it's already generated over $70,000 in trading volume. Think about that for a second. Sophisticated investors are literally gambling on this woman losing her job, and they're putting serious money behind their bets. But here's where it gets really interesting. The biggest individual shareholder in Cracker Barrel is a guy named Sardar Biglari, and he's been trying to get rid of the current management for 14 years. 14 years. This man has been like a ticking time bomb, and the logo disaster just handed him the perfect weapon. Back in October 2024, Biglari created a presentation with a title that now seems prophetic: Cracker Barrel is in crisis. He warned the board for separate times that their rebranding plan was what he called obvious folly. The board ignored him. Fast forward to August 2025, and everything he predicted came true. Biglari isn't just some random investor either. He controls about 5% of the company, and he's also the CEO of Steak and Shake. So when Cracker Barrel messed up their logo, what did this guy do? He started selling merchandise mocking them. Actual hats and t-shirts that say "Fire Cracker Barrel CEO" in the style of Trump's "Make America Great Again" caps. This is psychological warfare at a corporate level, and it's working. The second warning sign is financial, and it's absolutely devastating. Cracker Barrel's debt situation is so bad that they're essentially on life support. Their total debt of $1.14 billion nearly equals their entire market value of $1.4 billion. To put this in perspective, they have just $10.3 million in cash reserves. For a company of this size, that's like having $20 in your checking account when your rent is $2,000. They're functionally broke. But the numbers get worse. Over the past 5 years, while Julie Masino has been in leadership positions, the stock has dropped 55%. 55%. During the same period that other restaurant stocks were generally rising. The company spent $1.4 billion on their transformation plan and somehow managed to make things worse. Operating income has collapsed, same-store sales are declining, and they've had to close stores. This isn't just poor performance. This is systematic destruction of shareholder value. The logo controversy alone wiped out over $100 million in market value in a single week. $100 million. That's more money than some entire restaurant chains are worth. And it evaporated because they decided to remove a cartoon character from their logo. Warning sign number 3 is timing. And this is where corporate history becomes really predictive. When CEOs get fired after major public controversies, there's usually a pattern. We've seen this movie before. Target's CEO Brian Cornell announced his resignation 18 months after DEI policy backlash that triggered sustained stock decline. Papa John's founder John Schnatter was gone within 2.5 months of his NFL controversy. But here's the thing about Cracker Barrel's situation. It's actually following the Target timeline almost exactly. The logo reversal in late August bought Julie Masino some time, but it didn't fix the underlying problems. In fact, it might have made things worse by making the company look indecisive and reactive. Corporate boards hate CEOs who create avoidable crises, but they absolutely despise CEOs who handle those crises poorly. The rapid reversal made Masino look weak and out of touch with her own customer base. And here's something most people don't realize. Restaurant industry boards have very predictable patterns when it comes to CEO dismissals. They typically wait for quarterly earnings reports to provide cover for their decision. Cracker Barrel's next major earnings call is September 23, 2025. Mark that date, because if the numbers are bad or if they have to cut guidance, that could be the catalyst that triggers board action. The fourth warning sign is something we can actually measure in real time. and it's political pressure that's unlike anything we've seen before. Within hours of the logo change, major conservative influencers with millions of followers were calling for Masino's resignation. Gunther Eagleman posted, "Like this comment if you think the CEO of Cracker Barrel should be fired," and got over 47,000 likes. Benny Johnson, who has massive reach in conservative media, wrote, "Woke CEOs need to understand these decisions can cost their companies. We're watching. This isn't just random internet outrage. This is organized, sustained pressure from people with serious political influence." And unlike most social media controversies that fade after a few days, this one has persisted for weeks. The political dimension makes this particularly dangerous for Masino because Cracker Barrel's customer base skews heavily conservative. She's essentially at war with her own customers, and that's a war no CEO can win. But the fifth and final warning sign might be the most damning of all, and it's something that's been hidden from public view until now. Internal metrics suggest the company is falling apart from the inside. Employee satisfaction scores are terrible, with Glassdoor ratings of just 3.3 out of 5 stars. Employees are reporting unsafe working conditions, wage violations, and what they describe as intimidation tactics from management. Multiple legal challenges are now targeting the company. America First Legal has filed complaints with the EEOC and Tennessee Attorney General alleging discriminatory employment practices. There are class action lawsuits over wage and hour violations. These legal problems create personal liability risks for board members who retain underperforming leadership, which historically accelerates CEO dismissal timelines. The company has also closed stores in 4 different markets during 2024. Customer traffic is down 4%, and they're posting the worst EBITDA margins in company history at just 5.4%. Every single operational metric is moving in the wrong direction. Here's what makes this situation particularly volatile. Julie Masino isn't like most CEOs who own significant stakes in their companies. She's what insiders call only a marginal shareholder, which means she doesn't have the protection that comes with major ownership. The previous CEO, Sandra Cochran, is actually the largest individual shareholder, which could limit Masino's influence over board decisions about her own future. Meanwhile, her compensation package of $6.6 million, which is 360 times the median employee salary, has become a political liability during a period of financial distress. When your company is losing money and closing stores while you're making nearly $7 million a year, that creates optics problems that boards really hate. So where does this leave us? Based on historical patterns, financial metrics, activist investor pressure, prediction market activity, and internal operational failures, Julie Felss Masino is facing the highest probability of dismissal in Cracker Barrel's corporate history. The convergence of all these factors suggests a timeline of somewhere between 6 and 18 months, with the September earnings call being a critical inflection point. The betting markets currently give her about a 28% chance of surviving through 2025, which means the smart money thinks she's probably gone. But here's the really interesting part. If she does get fired, it won't just be about a logo. It'll be about a systematic failure of leadership, judgment, and strategic vision that's been building for years. The logo was just the match that lit the fuse.